Tsuyoshi Nishioka. I found this baby at a thrift store for $8, and I couldn't leave it behind. I picked this up, and I realized, thinking about it yesterday, that I had a good topic. Actually, I had a good topic that ties in Tsuyoshi Nishioka and David Ortiz. They go hand in hand. It's no surprise. Oh, just beware of a fan in a Swisher jersey. That's a good reference. That is a great reference. This isn't like let's lament over past Twins mistakes type of thing. It's more of, it's interesting to see, again, both him and Ortiz, certainly mistakes you could say, but it's kind of interesting how things developed after, like what happened as the result of those mistakes, I think is interesting. And there's a lesson to be had there that I think you can apply to the current Minnesota Twins. Signed out of Japan. He's actually much younger than a lot of the guys who came over from Japan at the time with the Twins in 2011. Generated quite a bit of interest, as evidenced by someone investing enough money to buy an authentic Nishioka jersey. He signed, the Twins made a fair, for the time especially, a fairly large investment, I suppose. I think they had to pay $5 million for the posting fee to negotiate with him. And then he did get a 3-year, $9 million contract. That isn't anything, that's less than Andrelton Simmons got last year. Now, obviously, we're comparing, 2021 numbers to 2011 numbers. It's not apples to oranges. But it's not like it was the kind of investment that was going to kill the Twins if it didn't work out. Unfortunately, it did not work out. Here are Nishioka's career MLB numbers. And as was referenced earlier, in like his 7th game or something, less than 10 games he'd played, and Nick Swisher came in on a double, trying to break up a double play and broke Nishioka's leg. And, I don't think that would have made the difference on his career as far as, things going better, but it certainly did not help things at all. Absolutely. Guy was trying to, get Major League Baseball down, in a new country, in a new situation, facing all new pitchers, and then he breaks his leg, kind of has to restart. Could not have helped. And this was sort of trending this direction pre-Nishioka in 2011. But look at how unstable position has been for the Twins, really since Jason Bartlett left. But you can really go back to Christian Guzman. Was really the last time the Twins had a really steady shortstop for several years in a row. Now, I know our guy Jorge Polanco obviously was in the position for 4 years primarily before switching back to second base. But 2 of those years, I think these numbers in parentheses are their wins above replacement for those seasons. So really 2 of these years, he was not very good. So we're talking about somebody performing for multiple seasons, and for just to see a guy with back-to-back 1-win seasons, you have to go all the way back to Jason Bartlett. And again, really, if you want to kind of look beyond that, and multiple seasons of at least 1 win, in Baseball Reference War we're talking about here, you have to go all the way back to Guzman. Obviously, the way the team trends doesn't hinge on just one guy. But I think a lot of people have kind of a little more bitter feelings or sour memories with Nishioka because his arrival and sort of letdown coincided with the Twins completely falling apart and having 4 straight 90-loss seasons. So, there was a lot going on that was putting the Twins in that direction anyway. Again, not saying that Nishioka's failure resulted in this horrible stretch of 4 90-loss seasons. Right after Target Field opens up. Right after the beautiful new ballpark opens up. Outdoor park. Everybody's so excited to see it. 94-win season. Probably could argue this is as energized as the Twins fan base had been since 1992 after the 91 World Series. And then it completely falls off to a 99-loss season, And certainly, again, Nishioka, you can't pin it on him, but he definitely did not help matters at all. I just think it's so funny with David Ortiz. I want to, let's, acknowledge that this guy went into the Hall of Fame, and more people should be talking about David Ortiz. Unfortunately, a lot of the talking points are the guys who aren't going in. That's just the way it goes. But, first ballot Hall of Famer, absolutely deserve it. I think his Twins career was a lot better than a lot of people realize. I think if you were a Twins fan around this time, you remember. But yeah, David Ortiz, he had a 500 slugging percentage, an 839 OPS, and a 120 OPS plus in his last season with the Twins. And I think the weirdest thing is, not just that the Twins released him. I think everybody kind of thinks back on that and kind of harps on that. But they tried to trade him before they released him, obviously. Of course you would do that. And nobody wanted to trade for David Ortiz. And the Red Sox, when they signed him initially, it was to a non-guaranteed contract. So there's just looking back at that time, it's just, and I know being mainly a DH only guy, although he had played some first base, obviously that limits your market and things like that. But just very weird to look back on that time now. Now that he's, an absolute legend, a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. And what I was kind of alluding to, that the funny thing about that mistake was, and again, this is just a great example of how much of a team game baseball is. And I would think that's got to be the biggest mistake in Twins history, right? Releasing a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find a bigger blunder than that. That was in 2002. That was David Ortiz's last season with the Twins. They won 94 games. Look what they did after that. 90 wins, 92 wins. They had one losing season in this big long stretch until the Nishioka year. Until the Nishioka year. So really, obviously, the Twins would have been better with David Ortiz. That's not suggesting that they wouldn't have been. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. Not at all the point I'm trying to make. But it's kind of funny how this shortstop instability, again, it wasn't the main reason behind this stretch, but it certainly hasn't helped it. And it's lingered for so long. While you could argue maybe the worst decision the Twins have ever made, they didn't really even skip a beat, Birdman, I had anyone that defends letting Ortiz go. It's indefensible. I don't want to make this seem like I'm defending it. I just thought this was an interesting decision on, self-scouting in multiple layers. Obviously the Twins did not self-scout on Ortiz very well. They did not self-scout on what they had behind Nishioka very well. And I think we've seen a lot of these same kind of issues coming up with a lot of areas of the Minnesota Twins lately, but and specifically thinking about how they're going to be building this 2022 team, you can see some kind of things coming in here, especially with, we have a shortstop situation again. I think with Nishioka, I liked that signing at the time. A lot of people liked that signing at the time. It was kind of an outside of the box thing. They were trying something different. And again, it was a fairly significant Twins investment for that time, but it wasn't like they went crazy. But now looking back now, it's like, well, do you want to do sort of the off the wall thing? That's you're sort of galaxy braining it almost and trying something different. Or do you just want to spend a little bit more money and get more of a sure thing? And I think that's a good question on what the Twins are looking at this offseason.